Welcome to CU655, Advanced Pedagogical Studies, Research and Presentation. Well, this unit is a different unit. This unit relies more upon you doing some research and doing a deeper dive, and then the last task is a presentation. So it's an independent study type unit. There'll be no lectures, but there'll be a few touch-base points along the semester, and we'll work on those times that fit in with everyone's schedule. But let's go through the unit and to unpack what's required. So the first one here is we're going to look at evidence-based approach to learning. We're going to look at the research, we're going to evaluate it, and you're going to present. That's the content that we're going to cover, and that mirrors the rubric which we'll come across. Now, the learning outcomes reflect those things, and the assessment tasks build and are evidence of those things being achieved. Now, important to understand is that the assessment is 100%, the presentation is 100%, but there is what we call developmental and formative parts A and B. So you submit parts A and B to get some feedback, but they don't count to the overall assessment. The overall assessment is part C, where everything's together. And you'll see it builds on each other. So what is part A and so on? So here's the 100%. Part A is a scholarship scan. It's really doing what we call a quick, short, annotated bibliography. So we're asking you to research 7 to 9 academic articles within your teaching and learning area specialization here. So if you're doing business, you'll reference about how to teach business or contemporary approaches to business teaching. Or if it's science, what are the contemporary approaches and the research saying about science teaching? So you'll do a number of articles, one that's shorter and one moderate, and they're longer, and there'll be a template which we provide to assist you in that annotated bibliography. So it is finding articles, sifting through them, selecting ones that are relevant, and then writing about them. So that's part A. Part B is you then do a deeper dive. So select one high impact teaching strategy or approach in response to your academic scan. So after you've done that broad brush scan, annotated bibliography, you'll select one strategy that you'll do a deeper dive on. And in that deeper dive, you'll get other scholarship to talk about it. Perhaps your strategy might be collaborative learning experiences. So therefore, you'll do a deeper dive in collaborative learning experiences. Or you might use, say, if it's mathematics, you might say the use of mathematical manipulatives in engaging concrete learning and so on. So you'll talk about and find about that strategy that you found in part A, which you are elaborating in part B. Now, part C is where we come together, and we'll have a time at the end of the semester where we'll do some presentations. So adopting an online conference presentation format, so we're using something like Zoom or Teams or equivalent, you will investigate and you'll present parts A and B, and then finalise what's the research saying and evaluate its application to teaching. So you'll present, you'll have some documentation or PowerPoints or other supporting information, videos perhaps, and you'll do that sort of 10 to 12 video minutes, and you'll then take questions. So that is the 100% assessment. What you'll do is you'll have the documentation of A and B as part of that submission. So if you go to the rubric, and the elaboration goes in here, and as I spoke to, here's a bit of a template about what you might do in your academic scan and your elaboration. In part C, as I've given some online tools that you might find useful for you, and here's some suggestions. Now, if you're not able to do the online format, you're able to do a video presentation and submit that. But what I'm going to encourage is that we all come together as a community of professionals to support each other in those presentations. Going to the rubric, you'll see that reflects here. So I've scanned quickly. Your academic scholarship, that will represent 40%, your teaching strategy elaboration 30%, and your presentation 30%. So altogether, 100%. You notice each criteria effectively is worth 10%. There's 10 of them altogether. So you'll be looking at the scope and quality of resources, how you've described them, how they apply to the Australian context, and you've evaluated. And that corresponds with the template that you have. Then you're more of a report. You'll describe the strategy, say what's the theory and scholarship connections, and then how does it actually apply and work in terms of the curriculum, in terms of the Australian context. In your presentation, I'm going to be looking at how you present. How's your communication? Is it got quality? Is it developmental? Has it coherency? Does it tell a professional narrative? And then you bring it home in the conclusions phase of that presentation, your overall evaluation and application. So you're drawing from really here for that. So that's how it works. So welcome again to CU655. We will have, as I said, to reinforce, we will be not having lectures. We will be having touch points catch up online, and it really relies on you to be that independent learner. One of the questions that comes up, do I have to submit A and B since the final presentation is everything? The answer is yes, you do. So you submit A and B along the way, and there'll be due dates for those assessments, and you'll receive feedback on those. And you're therefore allowed to edit Part A and edit Part B in response to the feedback. There's no question that if you do those responses appropriately, it's very difficult for seeing anyone falling over on this unit because you've got that feedback. Now, if you don't submit A, then you're not going to get that feedback. Or you don't submit B, you're not going to get that feedback. And remember, those two things come together in Part C. So it's of a great opportunity that you get this feedback and you submit them on time and you keep yourself working along that journey toward that overall presentation at the conclusion of the semester. So once again, welcome to the course.